Geopolitical Report for June 25, 2026, 10:32, generated by AI Agent, acting as Senior Geopolitical Analyst. Date of preparation, June 25, 2026. June 24, 2026, U.S. House Committee criticizes bypassing of Congress on Turkey arms sale. Representative Gregory Meeks, ranking member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee, condemned the administration for bypassing congressional review on a $700 million-plus arms sale of General Electric fighter jet engines to Turkey. The engines are intended for Turkey's domestically developed Ka-an fighter jet program. Meeks criticized the lack of written justification or emergency declarations for bypassing the hold he had placed on the transaction. Market impact, neutral. June 24, 2026, Pentagon awards major defense contracts for THAAD and AMRAAM systems. The Department of Defense announced several multi-billion-dollar military procurement awards, led by a $35.3 billion contract to Lockheed Martin for Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, THAAD, interceptors. Additionally, Strategic Mission Systems was awarded $984 million for E-4B sustainment, and Raytheon secured $398.7 million for Advanced Medium-Range Air-to-Air Missiles, AMRAAM. Market impact, bullish. June 24, 2026, U.S. Treasury removes 7 individuals and 2 vessels from Russia sanctions list. The U.S. Treasury Department's Office of Foreign Assets Control adjusted its registry by removing 7 individuals and 2 transport vessels, the Vyacheslav Arshinov and Gennady Igorov, from the Russia-related sanctions list. This move represents a minor administrative recalibration of active sanctions targets. Market impact, neutral. June 23, 2026, Assistant Secretary of War outlines Health System Readiness Strategic Priorities. Assistant Secretary of War for Health Affairs Keith Bass outlined strategic priorities for the military health system, emphasizing readiness as the primary mission. He highlighted concerns regarding staffing shortages and the rising costs of pharmaceuticals and care delivery in military facilities. Market impact, neutral. June 22, 2026, U.S. Treasury issues General License X authorizing Iranian oil transactions. The Office of Foreign Assets Control issued General License X, GLX, establishing a temporary 60-day authorization for transactions incident to the production, sale, delivery, and offloading of Iranian-origin crude oil and petrochemicals. This broad waiver covers crucial maritime services such as shipping, insurance, and bunkering. The action is aimed at stabilizing energy flows as part of the Bilateral Memorandum of Understanding, MEO. Market impact, bearish. June 22, 2026, first round of high-level U.S.-Iran negotiations concludes in Switzerland. A high-level U.S. delegation, including Vice President J.D. Vance, concluded the initial round of talks with Iranian officials in Switzerland following a Bilateral Memorandum of Understanding, MEO. The talks focused on implementing a 60-day ceasefire, resuming international nuclear inspections, and restoring safe commercial transit through the Strait of Hormuz. The administration expressed hope for long-term regional stabilization. Market impact, bullish. June 22, 2026, White House signs executive order for post-quantum cryptography cooperation. President Trump signed an executive order instructing federal agencies, including the State Department, to assist foreign partners and industry groups in transitioning to post-quantum cryptography. The policy aims to secure critical international digital infrastructure against emerging quantum computing decryption capabilities. It establishes a collaborative framework for global cybersecurity standards. Market impact, bullish. June 20, 2026, U.S. Central Command refutes Iranian claims of Strait of Hormuz closure. United States Central Command issued a statement disputing Iranian assertions that the Strait of Hormuz has been closed to international traffic. CENTCOM reported that dozens of commercial vessels continue to transit the critical maritime corridor safely under international coalition monitoring. Market impact, neutral. June 24, 2026, Chinese Premier Li Qiang defends clean tech exports at WEF Dalian Summit. Premier Li Qiang delivered a keynote address at the World Economic Forum's Summer Davos in Dalian, defending China's clean technology exports against Western allegations of industrial overcapacity. He framed Chinese electric vehicles, solar panels, and lithium batteries as vital opportunities for the global green transition. Li pushed back against Western protectionist trade policies and called for strategic cooperation. Market impact, bullish. June 24, 2026, Western allies issue joint warning on Chinese maritime activity east of Taiwan. The United Kingdom, France, and Germany released a joint statement expressing alarm over novel Chinese military activity in the waters east of Taiwan. The three nations warned that these operations jeopardize regional stability, safety, and freedom of navigation. They reiterated their opposition to any unilateral changes to the status quo by force or coercion. Market impact, bearish. June 23, 2026, China deploys new aircraft carrier through the Taiwan Strait. The Chinese military sailed its newest and most advanced aircraft carrier through the Taiwan Strait, escalating tensions and prompting close monitoring by Taiwanese defense forces. The transit occurred amid a series of military readiness exercises being held by Taiwan. Market impact, neutral. June 23, 2026, Belt and Road Forum in Beijing highlights high-tech and green energy pivot. The Belt and Road Trade and Investment Forum concluded in Beijing, emphasizing a shift toward small and beautiful high-tech projects. Discussions focused on collaborating with partner nations on artificial intelligence, digital infrastructure, and renewable energy grids to align with changing global trade dynamics. Market impact, bullish. June 22, 2026, China's Ministry of Commerce blacklists 10 U.S. companies in dual-use export ban. China's Ministry of Commerce added 10 U.S. companies, including Ball Aerospace, Oshkosh Defense, and rare earth supplier MP Materials Corporation, to its export control list. This measure restricts these firms from receiving Chinese-origin dual-use goods or technologies and prohibits third-party transfers. The move is a direct response to expanded Pentagon blacklists. Market impact, bearish. June 22, 2026, China's Ministry of Finance bars 46 U.S. companies from government procurement. The Ministry of Finance in China issued a directive barring 46 U.S. companies, including key subsidiaries of defense giants Lockheed Martin, Boeing, General Atomics, and General Dynamics, from participating in Chinese government procurement projects. The move is in retaliation for the expansion of the Pentagon's 1260H list. Market impact, neutral. June 22, 2026, Taiwan launches 5-day combat readiness drills amid elevated PLA activities. Taiwan's military began a scheduled 5-day immediate combat readiness exercise across the island, deploying armored vehicles and troops in real-time scenarios. The exercises aim to test rapid wartime mobilization capabilities as warning times for a potential Chinese invasion continue to shrink. Market impact, neutral. June 21, 2026, China deploys 23 military aircraft and 12 vessels near Taiwan ahead of exercises. The Chinese PLA deployed 23 aircraft, 7 naval vessels, and 5 government ships to the waters and airspace surrounding Taiwan. The deployment occurred on the eve of Taiwan's scheduled combat readiness drills and represents ongoing military coercion. Market impact, neutral. June 24, 2026, European Commission releases 2026 Convergence Report on Euro adoption. The European Commission published its Convergence Report for 2026, which assesses the economic readiness of non-Euro area EU members to adopt the common currency. The report serves as a key benchmark for financial integration and macroeconomic alignment across the bloc. Market impact, neutral. June 24, 2026, E5 leaders meet in Berlin to discuss defense and NATO burden sharing. European leaders of the E5 nations met in Berlin to discuss collective security strategies and burden sharing commitments within NATO. The meeting focused on scaling up European defense contributions and coordinating military responses to Russian threat posturing. Market impact, bullish. June 24, 2026 International Claims Commission Preparatory Committee meets in The Hague. The Preparatory Committee for the International Claims Commission for Ukraine met in The Hague to discuss mechanisms for claiming compensation from Russia. The entity is designed to evaluate and process claims for physical and economic damages resulting from the war. Market impact, neutral. June 23, 2026 Visegrad Group Prime Ministers hold Reconciliation Summit in Hungary. Prime Ministers of the Visegrad Group, V4, met in Godalo, Hungary, for their first high-level summit in over 2 years, signaling a revival of the regional alliance. Under Hungary's rotating presidency, leaders from Poland, the Czech Republic, Slovakia, and Hungary discussed alignment on the EU's 2028 to 2034 budget and cohesion policy. Market impact, neutral. June 23, 2026 EU hosts Kazakhstan President Tokayev to boost energy and corridor ties. The European Union hosted Kazakhstan President Kassym-Jomart Tokayev in Brussels to deepen cooperation under their Enhanced Partnership and Cooperation Agreement. Talks centered on securing supply chains for critical raw materials, strengthening energy security, and developing the Trans-Caspian Transport Corridor. Market impact, bullish. June 23, 2026 EU renews restrictive measures on Crimea and Sevastopol annexation. The Council of the European Union officially renewed its restrictive measures against Russia in response to the illegal annexation of Crimea and Sevastopol. The extension prolongs the current sanctions, which target trade and investment in the region, until June 23, 2027. Market impact, neutral. June 23, 2026 EU hosts Taliban delegation in Brussels for migration and consular talks. The European Union hosted a technical Taliban delegation in Brussels, marking their first meeting on European soil since 2021. Although the EU emphasized that the meeting did not imply diplomatic recognition, discussions focused on migration control, consular services, and the repatriation of Afghan nationals. Market impact, neutral. June 22, 2026 Hungary and Ukraine finalize historic minority rights accord to clear EU path. Under the new government of Peter Magyar, Hungary finalized a bilateral agreement with Ukraine expanding the linguistic, cultural, and educational rights of the ethnic Hungarian minority in Transcarpathia. In exchange, Hungary unblocked the opening of Ukraine's initial EU accession chapters. Market impact, neutral. June 25, 2026 Iran's Revolutionary Guard warns against unauthorized Strait of Hormuz transit. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, issued a warning against unauthorized shipping transiting the Strait of Hormuz. The IRGC threatened to take action against vessels not complying with Iranian-announced routes, complicating the U.S.-Iran ceasefire agreement. Market impact, bearish. June 24, 2026 Ukraine announces destruction of 60,000 tons of ammunition at Baltic Fleet Arsenal. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky announced that Ukrainian drone strikes successfully destroyed over 60,000 tons of ammunition at a Russian Baltic Fleet arsenal near St. Petersburg. The attack is part of a deep strike campaign targeting Russian naval supply lines and arsenals. Market impact, bearish. June 23, 2026 UN declares Ebola outbreak in eastern DRC a system-wide emergency scale-up. The UN Interagency Standing Committee enacted a 3-month scale-up in response to an Ebola outbreak in the eastern DRC, which has infected over 1,100 people and spread to Uganda. The epidemic is caused by the Bundibugyo virus, for which no effective vaccines currently exist. Market impact, neutral. June 23, 2026 Al Jazeera cameraman Ahmed Wisha killed in Israeli airstrike in Gaza. Al Jazeera reported that its cameraman, Ahmed Wisha, was killed during an Israeli airstrike in the Gaza Strip. The incident adds to the high death toll among journalists covering the conflict and has drawn condemnation from international media watchdog groups. Market impact, neutral. June 22, 2026, Ukrainian drone strike hits Dubna Space Communications Center near Moscow. Ukrainian forces executed a targeted drone strike on the Dubna Space Communications Center, the largest satellite communications facility of the Russian Ministry of Defense. The strike damaged the main technical and administrative building, complicating Russian military satellite coordination. Market impact, bearish. June 21, 2026, right-wing Abelardo de la Espriella wins Colombia's presidential runoff. Right-wing independent Abelardo de la Espriella narrowly won the Colombian presidential runoff election with 49.66% of the vote, defeating leftist candidate Iván Cepeda. The election, which had a record 63.6% voter turnout, marks a major political shift as the country transitions from the presidency of Gustavo Petro. Market impact, bullish. June 20, 2026, wave of Israeli airstrikes in southern Lebanon kills 29. Israeli airstrikes targeted the Nabatea district of southern Lebanon, killing at least 29 people, including Lebanese soldiers. The strikes occurred despite recent ceasefire declarations, with Israel stating it was responding to violations by Hezbollah forces. Market impact, neutral. June 20, 2026, Israeli strike on residential area in Gaza kills 6. An Israeli military strike targeted a residential area in the Gaza Strip, resulting in at least 6 civilian fatalities and destroying surrounding structures. The ongoing military actions continue to complicate efforts to establish a permanent ceasefire. Market impact, neutral.